Hey guys, Pat here. Today we're going to take a look at Balgowan Lake by sturat64. This is Sturat's first course, and I think there's a lot of things to really like. I played through the first 5 or 6 holes already, and decided that I'd like to do a little bit of a playthrough to kind of share my thoughts on the course with Sturat here and give you guys a look at it, because I think there's a lot of things to like for a first course, especially. First off the bat here, lighting looks really good here on the course. Taking a quick fly up here, obviously kind of a natural parkland look, I think is what we're going for here. And you know, off the bat, this has a really nice look to it. The tee boxes might be a little bit moundy here, but that's, you know, you don't see them when you're sitting on them or standing on them. And this shape could probably, you know, be smoothed out a little bit here. But overall, the look off the tee is really nice, especially, you know, into this foggy morning sun or evening. I'm assuming it's morning, but these bunkers sit really nicely over here to the right, and you've got a clear, you know, target area with your drive here. So I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, off to a solid start. I like the camber here too. It adds a little bit more difficulty to this landing area rather than, you know, laying up with the with a 3-wood or something where it would probably be flatter and easier. The green here looks really good. Bunkers sit nicely around the green. I think if anything, maybe this ridge here could be smoothed out a little bit. Maybe, you know, in this area right here, or something along those lines, and then maybe smooth this out a little bit. I think it's okay to have it kind of carry you that way, but this might actually run off into the rough there, which might be a bit much for some holes, but I think it might not be too much of an issue here. I need to remember that there's wind here. I like the false front you've got going on here too. I think it means, you know, if you're attacking this pin a little too aggressively, could mean that you're spinning the ball back off the front of the green, which is, again, a nice little touch that I think adds a little bit to the hole. Hole number 2, same thing on the tee box shapes here, which are greens. I think they could be a little bit bigger and kind of smoothed out. These feel like, you know, they're really tight in here. Not a huge deal though. Looks like the bunker's not playing too much into the angle into the green, so I'm going to just hit out to the left here, let the wind bring it back. Let's take a look at this green. Okay. There's a few things I really like about it. I like that the green's propped up here, you know, with the lake behind it and all that. I think this mound here makes a lot of sense. I like the way it sits here and has everything kind of flow onto the green, and I think this bunker down here makes a lot of sense, and I like that it's not right up against the green. I think this slope here might be a bit much. I think I'm assuming there's a pin up here, that makes this pin position kind of crowned, which, if that's what you're going for, I think that's okay, but you know, I like to avoid the crowned pin positions because I think they just add kind of unnecessary difficulty. You know, if you look at all the rest of the pins here, the pin we're going to here has a helping slope to the left here, a pin up front has a helping slope left and to the back, and a pin back here would have a helping slope from right to left here, and then a hurting slope off here, which again, I don't know if I'd have that running into rough, but that's kind of I think more of a personal preference than anything. Overall though, I think the green slopes are nice. It might be a little bit abrupt again. This I love, the mount here. It's the slope behind us here that I think might be a little bit abrupt, although it seems to be transitioning nicely right here. I'm by no means a pro at playing this game. I strictly design courses, so don't take my playing advice here. All right. These bunkers here, I like that I can see them again, and I think you've got the right idea again. Prop up the bunkers. So I think, you know, kind of bunker 102 is bringing up this area around here to make them feel like they naturally belong here. It depends on what kind of, you know, style course you're going for. If you're going for more of a manufactured look, then I think it makes sense. But in the context of this course, where everything feels more natural, those bunkers seem a little bit out of place. Oh, I like this green. I like this green a lot. I think there's a lot to like about this green. I think my only thing I would change is smoothing out this here so it's not running away from you up here. But I like these slopes here. I love, actually, I really like all the slopes on this green. I think a lot of them are working really well. This is quite a long shot to be hitting into a pin like this. But, you know, there's certain, especially with a tailwind. Oh, I might not make it. Get up there. There we go. I don't know if there's a way to really land that ball there without it running off that back slope. So my only note there would be to be kind of mindful of the strategy coming in. Because I feel like with that pin position, I didn't really have a way to play it that made sense. If it was a par 5, yeah, I could lay up, but because it's a par 4, it's a little bit different. Okay, so hole 4. First thing I notice again is just the shape of the green. I think this is a little bit too... it's coming into the green a little bit too much. I think this can be softened a little bit around that, and then same thing over here, just because it would make sense in how they would mow it. Not to go to Jerry Shields and everybody, but he makes really good points about, you know, how to shape your surfaces and things like that in the context of the real world. And again, I think this slope here is just really abrupt. I think it's just softening it a little bit could add a lot of interest to the green, because we have this really flat area here, and then red slope, and then a big flat area here. And I think we could massage this into this area down here. You know, this whole slope could be running, or this whole green could be running from back to front, and really introduce a lot of interest to that green site by having it slope all the way. Because now I'm going to have, you know, I made it to the right tier. I call it a binary green, where it's either you're here or you're here, and there's not really in between. You know, now that I'm here, I have a relatively flat and easy putt, which I was expecting to miss, so I'm actually glad that went in. But a relatively flat and easy putt, and then if I'm a tier down, it's going to be a very difficult putt, whereas you could possibly make that more gradual. I love this look off the tee here. This looks really good. I love the way the green sits propped up like this. I think this bunker over here to the left looks really nice. I like the way the path kind of, you know, meanders along the side here. There's a lot to really like about this tee shot. Especially the look of it. I think you did a really good job here. It's a drivable 4. I love that it's a little bit of a knoll. Everything's kind of running off on the sides. Now this is very different from a lot of the holes we've seen so far, where yeah, we have green slopes that are running off, but they're running into fairway, so I think it works. I don't think there's any issues with that. In these pin positions here, I assume there's one probably here, one back right, and one back left. Maybe there's one up here. I'm not really sure where you've got them tucked in. But you've got less abrupt slopes here. I think this one right here is still pretty abrupt, but you know, this yellow one transitioning down to here. This slope over here looks really nice. You got a nice bit of yellow here. I think this makes a lot of sense. It's also a drivable 4, so I don't think it has to be friendly or forgiving by any means. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get to it into the wind. Nope. Rejected. Let's see if we can chip one up close here. This is a really nice hole. I really like this. I think you did a good job. Go in. Oh, how about a chip and eagle? Good job on that. Not just because I eagled it. I think that's a good hole. Really solid. Hole number 6. I don't think there's anything wrong with having the center line hazard here. I do think that we have some fairway here that could probably be brought down to make it a little bit more visible. And then on top of that, I think the sculpting is, again, a bit abrupt on this. I think we could massage these slopes here to run away from the bunkers. Because if you hit, you know, if a ball lands here, it's just going to ricochet out this way and be gone. I think having just a ball kind of get gently caressed out there makes a lot of sense. Also, it looks like, looking at this green site, yeah, this green site heavily favors an approach from this right-hand side, especially even going down to this pin here. Every pin on this green looks like it benefits from that right-hand side. So I would try to make it so there's a very clear I don't think you have to change anything about the right-hand side, but I would maybe open up the left-hand side a little bit so you can still hit driver into it, but it's asking, it's begging you to hit over here because there's so much space. And then the challenging option is going to be to bite off more to the right here. You can also lay up with a 3-wood here, which I like a lot. I think that's a good option for the back pins where you have a lot more green to work with. Overall, though, I like the whole design. I don't think there's really too much to critique in that area. I think... ooh, there we go. So yeah, I think massaging that out a little bit could help a lot. This green I like a lot. Again, I think you've got this slope right here is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about really, really good kind of transition slopes. Rather than having a just straight wall of red, you've got some nice yellow and gold kind of helping the ball away from the hole here. And I think even down here you've got some green beads moving. So I think that's really good. Right here we've got a flat, a really, really clear like flat spot. And again, I think that could be massaged out a little bit more. And I think you've got it going on a little bit down here. So that's going to be my kind of last comment about that, because I think you probably get the point now that massaging those green slopes will help with the playability and make it a lot less. I keep calling it binary, but I don't really have a better term for it, where you can only play it one way or the other. There we go. Nice bird. Or was that a par 5? That might have been par 5. That was a par 5. Okay, so all my notes on that were in the context of a par 4. I would still open up the green to the left. You could even make the hole possibly longer. And the green slopes, I definitely think you could just make that whole green slope from that kind of front right to back left. Okay, so we have a clear path from the left-hand side. Okay, so I think this suffers from the same thing that the last hole did, where the clear area to drive to is this area out here to the left with these bunkers front right. And then this area over here is protected just as well as this left-hand side. So no one, in my opinion, no one should ever play to this side. So I think there's two things you could do to remedy this. You could either bring the rough out all the way out to here and maybe even put a bunker here to challenge a 3-wood layup into this area, or you get rid of this bunker here and bring this all out as fairway. So you're just begging people to hit to the right-hand side, which gives you a shorter shot, but is protected by these bunkers. And then the left-hand side is going to give you the better angle into the green, because you're coming in. You're talking about from here versus from here, and I know which one I would take. Now the back pin positions won't make much of a difference. I think that would help out this hole a little bit too. Just when you give those two options on the drive and you want to split the fairway, make one of them the clear desirable one where you have a wide open area. It's the easier option, I should say. And then the other one is going to give you the better angle into the green, and it's going to make the second shot easier, so you want to take on more with the drive there. This green looks like a goldfish cracker. I'm going to call this hole goldfish. I think the shape of the green could be massaged again a little bit more to have less of these kind of pieces being pulled into it. Overall, though, I really like, again, the green slopes here, especially like this here. This makes a whole lot of sense to play down into this area back here. I would even argue that this part of the green doesn't need to be here. That you could even maybe put a bunker or something here, because to get back to this pin, you could play all the way along this slope to get back down into here, and then you could have a pin here, this front right pin, and then you could have a pin that's tucked right here. And again, I would massage this just a little bit, because you have beads that aren't even moving right here, so you could definitely, afford to make this just feel like it flows from right to left in the context of the direction we're looking at the green here. But again, I think a lot to like. Ooh. Wind really took that. A lot to like on this green. And like I said, I think you have the fundamentals down. I think that the areas of improvement, these are more advanced things we're talking about. All right, par 3. Okay. I don't know how I feel about this green. It's kind of got this ridge that runs through it, but this ridge is also part of this slope that's coming down here. It runs towards the water there, and then runs back towards the water here. I think that this ridge could be massaged out a little bit more. I would maybe just bring the whole back of the green up a little bit and let it run left to right and back to front, just to make it play like a Redan, where everything is gonna, you know, be propped up along this backside here and force everything to run from left to right here. It's also a very, very tiny green with this massive apron of fairway here. I would maybe, you know, have brought the water in a little bit on the left-hand side here, or something to, or even just bring the rough in and do a smaller bit of fairway here. But I think that the amount of fairway you have here is not necessary for the, you know, the hole, the length of the hole. Ooh, way too much wind. Well, this is a mess, isn't it? All right, let's see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this up there. Be very safe about it. Wow, okay. Didn't break it all in the beginning there. See if we can save a par here. Ooh, don't break. Ah. Our first bogue. That's a tough hole, and that massive slope, I think, is kind of what attributes to that. It's not necessarily a bad thing having that slope there. Again, I just think it's a lot for trying to play a 200-yard shot to that first pin position there. I like, again, that I can see the bunkers nicely, and I think you've done a good job of that around the course, just being able to see the bunkers around the green, and it makes all the shots look really nice. Okay, we got another par 5. Oh, yeah. Okay, so same thing here. This, you know, if you're going to have a runoff like this, I would maybe put an apron around the front of the green here. And then you could even massage this whole slope back into this front area and just let this front area move as well. I'm going to see if maybe we can get a ball up here even with the wind. This tree here maybe doesn't need to be there either. I don't know. If you're playing to a layup area, I'm indifferent. I'm not going to be as hard on you about trees as some of the other guys would. There we go. I'll take that every day. Thank you for that generous backstop. All right, go in. Give me an eagle. Ah. All right, okay, another beautiful looking shot here. This has got beautiful lighting coming through the trees here. You've got this framed really nicely with these trees over here to the left. I would maybe plant a tree or two right up in here to just block the view down here, or plant this a little bit more. But wow, this is a very nice looking tee shot. Oh, and you got a little bit of a double plateau. This green slope here, we've talked about it already, but and I don't know about this pin position here. This is tucked really tight behind this bunker for being 200 yards out. I don't feel like there's a way I can really get this close at all. I'm going to try my best to just shape a 5-wood in. And again, I'm playing no tempo, so I have that advantage that I can try to pull stuff off like that. And I still didn't make it. But I do like the way that bunker swallows balls like that. If it was a shorter hole, I think you could get away with it more. This is, I think, pushing it a little bit. I can also hit a partial splash because no tempo. but not a bad hole. I think it's really, really, really good looking. I think this one looks nice too. This tee shot looks really nice. It's subtle. I like the way the light's coming through the trees in the background there. Ooh, and I like this green side already too, from the looks of it. Wow, yes, this look into the green here looks really nice too. I like the way the planting sort of falls off on each side and brings you in. This pin, I assume there's a pin here. That looks a little bit iffy. I don't know about that one. But I think this is a neat little approach. It's a short approach, so I think the small green makes a lot of sense. See if we can get it. Oh, I'm not playing enough wind here. Let's get it. Let's get it close here. Ah. Hole 12. Another center line. I'm not sure. So this one's interesting. I'm not sure what I would call the favorable angle into this green. The front two pins you can, well, assuming there's two pins here, you could play from either side, so it doesn't really matter. The back pin here, I would think you'd want to be to the left-hand side, which makes sense then, because this is, you know, you see how you have this, you know, pinched a little bit on the left, and then the right side's wide open. I think that's really well done, and I think it makes sense. I think the green could do more to sort of favor this left-hand side. But overall, yeah, I think that makes sense. I think this bunker doesn't know what it wants to be either. I don't know if maybe a couple bunkers there would help. But it just feels like that bunker was kind of slapped down there without any intent. Oh, wow, that carried a lot more than I thought it would. We're going to be all the way in the back of the green. Off the back of the green. Which isn't terrible. It's a par 5. Bite. Holy cow. Alright. We're going to scramble for par here. Oh. That was a tough one. I made that a lot worse than I needed to, which I like. Alright. A little bit of a lion's mouth. This looks really nice. I like this. I'm getting Augusta vibes. Real strong Augusta vibes from this hole. Not sure if I should go for it. I like... There's a lot of things I really like. I don't think this makes much sense here, but I think that all of this fading off into the fairway back there makes a lot of sense. You're talking about a par 4 where it's drivable, and you've got this really awkward green. Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm going to try to really squeeze a ball in here, though. Get up there. So I'm going to get a little bit of fairway. I don't know what kind of bounce I'm going to get. Ooh, get right up there. Slow down. Oh, beautiful. Well, I'll take my eagle and go. That's a neat hole, too. I think your short par 4s have been the strongest holes on the course. And I think a lot of, again, your hole design makes a lot of sense. Okay, I can see exactly what you're doing on this hole. And I think it makes sense, especially for these back pins. I would maybe bunker the green even more than you already have to protect this back pin a little bit more from this left-hand side. The other thing I would suggest is you have this ridge through the green, or through the fairway here. I would maybe bring all of this fairway and these bunkers up to this same level. That way this has a little bit of a ridge that sits in front of it, and it makes it feels like it sits there a little bit more naturally. Right now it looks like they just, you know, mow the fairway that way because that's the way they want to mow the fairway. Again, I like the way the bunkers sit here a lot. I like that I can just barely see the green back there. Again, I think you've got a lot of things. Ooh, wow. I think you've done a lot of things really well here. This is an interesting pin. I'm trying to think of how I would play these back shots here. There's not really anything adding a lot of interest here. I would, again, this slope, a lot of the greens feel like they're just cut in half by these really abrupt slopes, and I feel like you could massage those out a little bit. I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but I do feel like that's the biggest area that this course could improve. And again, it's really, really not a bad course. I don't want to sound like I'm just dogging on your course here. I think that you've got a lot going for it. And again, like I first said when I first played this course, I think this is better than my first course, and I think you've got a lot going for it here. I think if you improve on a lot of these things here, if this doesn't get tour worthy, which I think it's very close if it's not, I think you're very, very close to getting there. I think a lot of your planting is really, really nice, especially like this around the green. I think it all looks really, really nice. I think it fits the theme well. I think there's a few inconsistencies that can be worked on, but like I said, overall, I think this is a really, really solid first effort. Oh, boy, I sure know how to bogey those par 5s or par 4s, don't I? Okay. Okay, this feels forced a little bit. The immediate thing I always say when there's a hazard that cuts it like just perpendicular is I would try to turn it at more of an angle so it runs, you know, this way. That way it brings this fairway a little bit closer here and it extends this fairway out a little bit more. What that does is really has the golfer have to kind of pick a side, and it gives them more options rather than just, you know, I feel like I can't hit 3-wood here for sure. So my layup here is a 5-wood, and actually I have a big ridge here that kicks me towards that hazard as well. And then I can barely carry this. I can carry it right now because of the wind, but I can definitely see this playing really differently depending on where the wind is. And this I think exacerbates the problem too, where you've got this big plateau green up here, which we've seen a lot of, but this one feels like intentionally a knoll, where if you're hitting into this green from that layup zone back there, you are in a lot of trouble because you're not going to hold this, especially with all these slopes running off the back. This would be incredibly difficult, especially into the wind. I don't know. I did not play the wind, and I'm going to be off the back of the green. See, I had a hard enough time with it being that close to the green, with my approach being that short. All right. Can we save par? No. But that's okay, that's my own fault. All right, hole 17. This sits nice in here. Again, I get Augusta vibes from these trees sitting back here. This feels a little bit lumpy and kind of, I don't know, it feels like it could be smoothed out a little bit more. This bunker feels like it could be a little bit bigger. But I like the way that it sits back there. And I really like the way the bunkers sit in the front here. See if I can get something close to this hole. Oh, way too much. Way too much wind still. Go in. Ah. Alright, settle for our par. We're off to the finishing hole. A little bit of a wind behind us. Par 5. So I feel like I could play 3-wood here. And I might even consider it if I'm playing with tempo. Let's take a look at the green. So 3-wood into this. We have a lot of fairway again to work with around it, and I think that we've gone back and forth from having fairway around the greens to not having fairway around the greens. If I think you might want to stick to one particular style over another. Also, these bunkers are just dropped into the fairway texture. Typically, you would probably want to add a lot of a lot larger apron around or a band of heavy rough around these bunkers. And you can do that if you haven't seen it before. You can do that a number of ways. You can spline the fairway and leave the inside not filled, and then spline around each bunker, and again, don't fill it, and then just paint in your fairway where you want it. Or you can just paint the whole fairway in, and then you can drop these in with brushes. There's a number of ways to do it, but giving yourself a nice padding around these will have them feel like they sit in the land a little bit more naturally. This feels like a stock shape too. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on the stock shapes, but this does feel like you just grabbed one of the stock shapes and went click. Oh, get up there. Get up there. Okay. We're dancing. It's amazing what you can get away with when you're playing with no tempo. Oh. Well, we almost ended on an eagle. Before I drop this, I want to take a look at the clubhouse area here, because I see we've got a driving range and stuff back here. I think your clubhouse looks nice. Oh, you got a pool. I like the effort you put into the clubhouse area here. I think that that's something that often goes overlooked, especially on new courses. Wow, look at this driving range facility. The whole practice facility here is really nice. I like this. It's a good touch. Even though some of it is some, stuff you'd never see. When you're coming in here, all this makes sense. So, awesome. Really good job. And again, I mean, for a first course, this is out of this world. If you haven't already, I would hit up Wayne and see if, or what about Amiobi, in the forums, and see if he'll give your course a play here. I'm not sure if he played it earlier today. I don't know if you had it published yet, but overall, like I said, really solid job. I think the big takeaways as far as things that I'd work on going forward are just work on massaging those green slopes out a little bit more. And actually, probably, I would just say sculpting in general, making things a little less abrupt and a little bit smoother. You can use the fuzzy flattening brush for that, and you can use the raise and lower tools, although they can be quite finicky to get things to look smooth when you use them that way. So overall, like I said, your whole design I think is really solid. Your surfacing makes sense in most areas, and I think you've got your green transitions and all that stuff down really well. So yeah, I look forward to seeing what kind of courses you put out here in the future, and I hope you stick with it and keep at it, and keep on putting out great courses. Thank you.